Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are reconvening to the regular meeting of the Berkeley County Board of Education this Tuesday, June 27th, 2017. I call this meeting to order. I declare a quorum is present and the media has been notified. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Mr. Ramsey to approve the agenda. All in favor? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We'll now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll now move on to Agenda Item 1D, the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of June 13th, 2017. Is there a motion?
I make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Reverend Spann, to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on June 13th, 2017. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The minutes are approved. Now moving on to Agenda Item 1E, the approval of the minutes for the special meeting on June 20th, 2017. Is there a motion?
I make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Ms. Conder, to approve the minutes of the special meeting on June 20th, 2017. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The minutes are approved. We'll now move on to Item 2A, the Head Start Budget Expenditures. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Head Start Budget Expenditures Report for May 2017, Head Start Credit Card Report for May 2017, Head Start Parent Handbook, Head Start Staff Handbook, Head Start 2017-2018 Academic Calendars, the Head Start Transportation Waiver, the 2017-2018 Revised Refunding Application, the 2017 Cost of Living Adjustments, and prospective new hires.
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Kelly, a second by Mr. McQuillan. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The Head Start motion is approved. We'll now move on to citizen comments. We have one. In order to conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient manner, we ask that you honor the following guidelines. Stakeholder comments are welcomed and encouraged. However, the board will not take immediate action on public comments at this meeting. Any person wishing to address the board must register prior to the meeting. Comments must be regarding programs, policies, or procedures. Comments regarding complaints against employees other than district-level executives or references to students other than the child of the speaker will not be heard in public session. Groups addressing the same topic should select one speaker. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The board chair reserves the right to allot additional time or halt public comments that do not adhere to the guidelines. Welcome Mr. Hardesty to speak about CTE.
Good evening, Chairman Walford, members of the board, Superintendent Jackson. As somebody who's been here as a frequent critic, when I see something that I don't like, I would be remiss if I didn't stand here and bring praise when I see something I absolutely love. And what I'm seeing in this district is a concerted effort to look at students and their careers and build an education around that, and I think that's very commendable. Career and technology education is dear to my heart. I spent my career in manufacturing plants of all kinds all over half the United States. So I understand a little bit about manufacturing, and I understand the kind of jobs that are out there and the kind of living that people can make doing those things. And I think it's just commendable that you're now focusing on that, honoring dual credits. I'm just very pleased, and I wish Tana Lee was here to hear this, but I couldn't be more proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardesty. We'll move on now to Administration and Facilities, the quarterly construction update. Mr. Sides. Ms. Queen.
Madam Chair, Mr. Jackson, members of the board, this is the quarterly construction update. Since we are in the throes of the summer, it is our department's busiest time. So this is going to be a dual presentation with Ms. Queen, who will be doing some of her projects, and then I'll be following up with the remainder of mine. In the first slide, we only have 4 remaining projects. We've got the Berkeley Ed Center, Philip Simmons High School, which will be opening this August, Fox Bank Elementary and Bowen's Corner, which have just started construction, and the Fox Bank was approved at about 2 board meetings ago. So we're in the throes of all the construction. I'm in the throes of finalizing Philip Simmons High School, and so I'm going to let Ms. Queen start off with the Berkeley Ed Center.
Good evening. So as Jean said, we are very busy right now, working through the summer. Many of you have probably passed by this daily, but as you can tell, Berkeley Education Center is well underway. We have actually finished the structural stabilization on the inside of the building. So we have done everything we need to do to make this building safe again. Exterior masonry is nearing completion. We are actually, I can get this to work. We are actually finishing up with the turrets that are at the main front entry of the facility. New roof is in progress. We are still waiting on our windows to be delivered, but we are hoping to get those next month. So those will be in. Our design team is actually working on phase 2 design. And we have met with the steering committee that we have, which is comprised of some of our staff and other public community members, which we had our first meeting June 6th. Here are just a couple of shots of the facility. You can see the interior has been completely gutted, so you can see that nice wide space now. The middle photo, you can see the stabilization that we've done to the facility, and then the picture to the far left is our new roofing system. So I want to go into phase 2 just a little bit. This current floor plan is based off of feedback that we received from the board in January when we presented our analysis between office and educational space. So this plan was developed from that. The spaces are pretty much the same. So currently we are sending this out to pricing for the contractor. So this will be our first pricing exercise. We'll get a feel for where we are. We're scheduled to go into detailed design in July, and then we'll do another pricing exercise in September. Wrapping up implementation documents in October, and then a final pricing set around Thanksgiving. So if all of this works out, hopefully we'll be able to present a GMP to the board before Christmas, and then hopefully start construction on the interior spaces in January. Okay. So, oops. Okay, so moving on to Bowen's Corner, just to give you a little layout of the land, we are hot and heavy with construction right now. This building is moving very fast. If you look at area A1, which is on the top left, that is the kindergarten and first grade classroom wing. Then if you move to the right, down to the right, you can see the A2 area. That is kindergarten, first grade classrooms, special education rooms, restroom and media center. On the bottom right-hand side, you'll see the administration wing, and then area C, multi-purpose room, kitchen, dining, and music rooms. Okay, so here are a few photos of what we have going on right now. Actually, these are pretty outdated, even though this is only a week behind. Area A1, you can see we have walls going up. We've got elevator pit going in. Kindergarten rooms are well underway, so masonry is moving forward fast. And I have a little show for you guys. This is a little bit of drone footage of the facility from a few weeks ago.
Okay, the next project is Fox Bank Elementary, and this is a current site aerial that it's, as Crystal explained, this too is outdated. At this point, you would see about over 550 little dots on the building pad. We had 550 plus geopiers installed in 7 days. The contractor has fast-tracked this project, and we're trying to catch up with Bowen's Corner. The latest current activities is the building pad prep is complete, the geopier installation is complete, the detention pond improvements, which are basically in the lower left-hand corner, which are the HOA's pond, we've improved those. Those are complete. And they're now working on the bus loop access. We've got a security fence installed along Fox Bank Plantation, and we have a scheduled pre-installation sewer meeting with the Berkeley County Water and Sanitation, which is to start tomorrow, which is going to help us tie into our water and sewer. And on Philip Simmons, we are in the critical path era of the project, where in the next 3 weeks we are prepping for inspections, getting commissioning of the utilities and the infrastructure, getting DHEC approvals. We've had about 4 courtesy inspections from DHEC over the past week, just to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row whenever we get ready to commission the kitchens and concession stands. To kind of reorientate yourself, areas A and B are the academies. Area C is the administration. Area D is the theater and band and art classes. Area 3, which is Area E, is the 9th grade wing. Area 2 and F are the cafeteria and serving areas and the kitchen. And areas G and H are the gymnasium and auxiliary gym. So what we have here are the lobbies. The Trazo lobby logos are going in. They're almost complete with those. This is the 9th grade lobby floor logo. It's the photo that's depicted here is the stage right before they polish it. And in the photograph below is the cafeteria terrazzo, which is in the process of being polished. In the center is the dedication to Philip Simmons with his ironwork. We're going to have a couple of medallions done by the Philip Simmons Foundation to be mounted onto that ironwork, and they just installed that this week. And then we have the fixed cabinet and equipment being installed at this time. And then in the lower right is the light fixtures for the main entry lobby, along with the decorative handrail. And this is one of the logos. Is a large, it's about 14 foot in diameter logo in the gym entry. You'll see the process of the main entry logo in the photo below. And the theater had the seating installed this week along with the wall panels, as well as this photo is a week old, and they currently have all the lighting, stage speakers. They're also wiring for the control rooms, which is where I was taking this photo from in the second story. And then we've got all the casework in the classrooms, and the science furniture is being wired and installed at the same time. And then we have the CTE sports training equipment installed. Lockers are going in, including at the field house. This is the media center ceiling panels and clouds. That's old because we now have light fixtures and everything's hanging for an OSF courtesy inspection. And then these are small photos of the gym and the pads that were custom made for the auxiliary gym. And this is the field house, and this current aerial of the athletics is a month old. So since the rain, all the gray area is actually green and lush. So we're ready for football already. Other than that, do we have any questions?
How many seats does the auditorium hold?
715.
Okay. How about the gymnasium and the football?
The football stadium holds about 500 occupancy is for the football field. That was based on the current plumbing code, kind of restricted us to stay within budget. But now that's been amended.
That can't be
Not
right.
500.
Football's probably 5,000.
Yeah.
No, it's not 5,000. No, 1,700, I'm sorry.
500 seemed kind of low.
1,700 is what, we did it for the student population. 1,700 is what the
That'll have
football.
to be upgraded in the next few years. In order to host a playoff game, you've got to have at least 3,500.
Yes, that is true.
Yes,
Charles-
sir. Well, I think the emphasis was being put on completing the structure with all of the athletic facilities for the opening in the next few years. As you know, when they open, the school will have 9th and 10th grade and will not have a varsity football schedule. So it promotes the opportunity to grow. So yes, we will have to be upgraded, but for the sake of this budget and also the timing for the school, it was scaled back.
So it's on schedule to open and
Yes.
for the faculty to move in without hard hats?
Yes, we have accelerated the schedule so that we hope to be in by August 1st.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the cell phone tower implementation.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members. This presentation is really a follow-up from the May 9th meeting. We heard from Milestone Communication. During that time, we were informed that there were carriers interested in 4 of our sites: Hanahan Middle School, Sedgefield Middle School, Westview Middle, and Sangery Middle. After more investigation was done, determined that one site was unwarranted. That was the Sangery site that was in close proximity to, there's a lattice tower there. There's also another cell phone tower in pretty close proximity. 2 of the sites need further investigation. That would be the Westview Middle and the Hanahan Middle School sites. Need further investigation. However, the Sedgefield Middle School site is ready to move to the next phase. Since then, there was an initial meeting conducted by the folks at Milestone Communication, held with the school's administration and also leaders of the School Improvement Council and PTA. That was actually last Thursday, to provide an overview. And just to provide you a quick overview of the layout and the proposal of the proposed location of the cell phone tower. If you look here, this is Charles B. Gibson. This is the front of Sedgefield Middle School, and this is the back of Sedgefield Middle School. Those of you familiar will know that there is a baseball field there. It's where Goose Creek High School plays baseball. This is along the first baseline. Here is where the proposed cell phone tower will go. That is where an existing light pole stands. So the proposal is for a drop and swap. All right, this is an image of the proposed cell phone tower. As you can see, well, you can't see it from there. It's approximately 116 feet tall. As it says, a proposed drop and swap, meaning that we will use basically the footprint for the existing light pole, put the cell phone tower there, and also mount the existing lights on that pole so we can still use it as a light pole. And then we can also use it for the cell phone tower, so there's space there for 4 devices. To give you a better picture, this is a satellite image of Sedgefield Middle. Again, this is the front of the school parking lot. This is the back. This is the baseball field. And there is the light pole that I was referring to earlier. So again, it's a proposed drop and swap. We would remove the existing light pole and place a cell phone tower there, and also mount the existing lights onto the cell phone tower. That is correct.
How much is this going to, how much revenue will we have once this is implemented a year? I forget, like 30, 40 grand per tower?
Let me get, just happened to have David here from Milestone Communication in case a question like that came up. So
Just in case.
just in case.
Hey, my name is David Goldsmith. I am the project manager for Berkeley County. To answer your question, right now it would be, we would pay the school system a one-time fee of $20,000 when we construct, $5,000 per carrier that goes on, and then 40% of the gross revenue per carrier. So this carrier, I believe, I mean, it is T-Mobile, and I believe their lease is $22.75 per month. So the school system will get 40% of that, increased annually by 3%.
Okay.
And then the additional carriers will be 40% of that as well, with a one-time fee of $5,000 per carrier that adds on to it. Only the one-time fee of $20,000 is when we construct the tower.
Can you anticipate whether the other two sites will be suitable for a tower?
We are looking into them. One of them is looking better than the other, just because of space and setbacks and zoning issues. But we are still in the preliminary process for those as well.
You mentioned Sangery. What did you say about the Sangery Tower?
The Sangery site is actually in close proximity to existing.
So you will not need
existing
a tower
towers.
there.
Correct.
What are you saying? Have you considered another school for that tower?
Well,
Maybe Cross or Timberland High School?
I'll say I drove down Highway 6 today. Somebody should go down Highway 6 and see if there's not a place.
Yeah, that's the reason why I said that.
All right, so there's a couple ways to answer this, and I know where you're going with that. One, Milestone, we're in contract with Milestone to market all of our sites. So that includes the sites that we have out in Cross as well. But it's based on interest from carriers. So we're marketing all of the sites. If there are interest from carriers in the Cross area per se, then we can pursue those as well. But it's based on interest by the carrier.
And or St. Stephen.
If there's interest by the carrier, we can definitely pursue those sites. Yes, sir. So the sites that we're talking about now, the 4 or the 3 sites now that we're discussing now, carriers have expressed interest in those 3 sites.
I have a question. I've heard from the administration at Sedgefield Middle that they don't get really good signal in the school, like with cell phone or internet. Will it improve that situation?
Yes, it will improve inside and outside the building.
Okay, excellent.
And also, which site are you potentially having zoning issues with?
Hanahan.
Hanahan? Is it because currently that site, it might be hard to get it approved for zoning for a certain height cell tower, or what's the issue?
There's a few issues. So it's not really so much the height, it's the zoning code ordinance. City of Hanahan just doesn't, their text amendment doesn't allow towers, as well as just as a land use application. Hanahan's a fairly relatively small footprint of a school, and so we don't want to impede on any of the already existing activities that the school uses. So we don't like to cause a lot of disturbance of the land. So if it's going to detract from the already existing use of the school, we don't.
Just because of the location where it's at. If
Just
you
because
build
of the
another
location.
tower, it might take up a little bit more room, and then would inhabit as far as travel right there.
Correct, and the existing activities of the school where the students play, and just, we don't want to take up more than we have to
Sure.
of the playgrounds and fields.
Okay.
So that's why this one's in particularly a good site, because there's already a pole there. We use it, it's a dual use. We're
Well, I
not
know at the Hanahan Middle, there's a pole there, but it's not nearly as tall.
Right. The footprint of that would need to be a lot larger. So, and we would need access to it, and that one's in the middle of the courtyard, right
Right.
next to where they have an outdoor classroom, I believe.
Right.
And so, as a land use application and best practice, we feel that it's not.
As far as would it be cost prohibited for y'all maybe to relocate it on that site, just because this, for instance, towards maybe the back of the Hanahan Middle site instead of where that one is currently located? Would there be any other place within the middle school that would make sense to put a tower?
Well, we have gone out there and kind of walked the site, and just because of different setbacks and zoning codes, I don't foresee it. We are definitely still looking at it. It's not ruled out, but we are leaning towards no on that one.
Sure. Okay.
It's a pretty tight site.
Yeah, I know where. Yeah.
It's 10 or 11 acres.
That's why I was hoping maybe the back of the site, maybe somewhere.
Yeah, we looked back there by like the bus loop, I believe it is. We're taking a look at there. We just need to be able to meet the required setbacks and then work with the city of Hanahan to
Because
try
I know
and-
even as far as even if you had to request an abearance or something along those lines, I know the city, any way that they could work with us, they would. It's just whether it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, we will keep that in mind, and we're just trying to work on the logistics of trying to put it in.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
When is the Sedgefield Tower going to be constructed and come online?
Not for a little bit. We haven't even submitted an application for that yet.
Okay.
We haven't touched the ground. Those drawings were just based off of aerials. We'll need to go out there and do surveys, community outreach, our whole process. We haven't even started it yet. So, well, we've started it. We've gotten this far, but we'll really do the heavy lifting after we get the go-ahead.
With all of the congestion and space that are not available in the city area, you may want to consider the rules. Timberland and Cross High.
I would say Reverend Span needs some cell phone service. I do too.
or something.
So have you been out in that area?
To which one?
Timberland or Cross?
I have not. So we actually don't build on speculation. We will only build if a carrier comes to us.
I see.
So that's why that we have gone out to these schools, because the carriers have actually approached us. It's unfortunate that Sangery, there was a tower close by, and per the zoning code, you have to co-locate on an existing tower.
Because you have tons of space out there.
Right. No, we liked it. We liked it for sure. Zoning wouldn't allow it because there was a opportunity for them to co-locate on another. Like we designed the towers for 5 carriers for that purpose, and they will not allow anybody. They won't let us build another tower if there's one close by.
I can guarantee you there's none close by.
You can come with me to the zoning board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. I thought he was talking about Sangery.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Milestone Communication and move forward with the implementation process for the cell phone tower to be located at Sedgefield Middle School.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan. A second by Reverend Span. We've had ample discussion. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion passes. We'll now move on to financial services. Agenda item 5A.
Good evening again. You have before you information for bid 1617-56RS. This is a cooperative term contract to furnish and deliver perishable milk and related products. This contract will take the place of the existing term contract that is about to expire with Borden Dairy Company of South Carolina. And we ask that you approve IFB 1617-56RS, the cooperative term contract to furnish and deliver perishable milk and related products to Borden Dairy Company of South Carolina, LLC, for the initial annual cost of $824,037.
Madam Chair Lady, I make a motion to approve IFB 1617-56RS, cooperative term contract to furnish and deliver perishable milk and related products to Borden Dairy Company of South Carolina, LLC, for an annual cost of $824,037.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Barrow. There's a motion by Mr. Barrow, a second by Reverend Spann. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion passes. We'll now move on to Financial Services, item Agenda 5B, the second reading of the budget.
Excuse me. And we ask that you approve the General Fund 2017-18 budget for a total revenue amount of $278,324,914, as well as the expenditures that were presented before you for a total budgeted amount of $278,324,914.
Madam Chairwoman, I make a motion to approve the second reading of the fiscal year 2017-2018 general fund budget.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Mr. Ramsey. Is there any discussion? I know earlier in the budget workshop, I asked Ms. Carlin about a $190,000 expenditure from the board. She did some research at the break, and that was some expenditures that are not relatively board expenditures. They're not payments that we can do without or move. And so she made that make more sense. It was some legal services and some different things like that were underneath the board's umbrella, which made that make more sense. So I had to ask that question, so I wanted to follow up with the answer. I was trying to buy another bus, but it wasn't money that was adequate to be reallocated.
In one of our previous meetings, I asked about bus supervisors' raise, and maybe I missed it because I didn't notice it in your presentation earlier. Was there something for the bus supervisors?
No, sir, not at this time. And the reason being is we are in the midst of a salary study, and it's our understanding that we need to wait until after the salary study is completed and presented that to you as a board to determine the next steps on that.
That's correct. We had the step increase. We also increased all employees by 1%, which is reflected in the budget presentation, but as far as addressing a specific group, we thought it would be more prudent to receive the results of the salary study before we addressed any one specific group individually to come up with a more strategic plan, have the information to come up with a more strategic plan to address our different personnel groupings.
So you have those information available?
The results of the salary study?
Yes.
Not at this time. No, sir, we do not.
How many bus supervisors do we have in the county?
I believe we have 4 or 5. 4? Thank you, Jerome. We have 4.
Is there a pay scales for them? Is there a pay scale for the bus supervisor?
Yes, sir.
I would like to see that in comparison to our custodian
Yes,
pay
sir.
scale.
Absolutely.
Is that something that I could see? I mean, not today though, right? Not tonight. You have that somewhere.
Yes, sir. I could get that for you.
We
Yes, sir.
can get that information to the board. That shouldn't be a problem.
When you're doing your salary study, will that be considered part of your study, your bus supervisor and?
All personnel groupings were a part of the salary study from all classified employees all the way up through the administration at the district level. All employees were a part of the salary study.
This is our second and final reading of the budget.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add a motion if we would table this budget until the next meeting.
So there's a motion to table the budget to the next meeting. Is there a second? Second?
I second.
There's a motion by Mr. Reverend Spann. A motion and a second by Ms. Conder to table the budget to the next meeting. Any discussion? So I'm particularly concerned about tabling the budget because our next regularly scheduled meeting is July 25th, and you'll be into the next fiscal year for a month without an approved budget. So we'll be running a month without an approved budget. I'd prefer a specific amendment to this current budget. If there's something specific you want to address, I'd rather amend this budget that we're looking at and try to get a work product.
I'm concerned about the supervisors and in relationship to our custodian, and I'd like to look at that, and like the board to look at that again, and see exactly how those salaries are constructed. If we can maybe have a special meeting in between, then.
It does appear, too, that we have some funds left over, and so to the extent there is some sort of discrepancy, isn't that right? There's $250,000 available to meet the other needs of the district, so I would suggest that, at least my position would be that we approve this budget, and then to the extent the salary study shows some sort of discrepancy or you still have your concerns, we can talk about using those additional $250,000 in funds for our 4 supervisors.
Are there only 4? Are you Superintendent Jackson?
Mr. Davis behind me is
Yes,
confirming
sir.
there are 4. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I would agree with that. I can go along with that.
All right, so first we have to call the question to table. So we have a motion, we have a second. So we're going to call the question. All in favor of tabling the budget to the July 25th meeting, please respond by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. That motion is defeated. So now we're back to the original motion, which is the approval of the second reading of the 17-18 general fund budget.
So I'd like to make a motion in accordance with what Reverend Spann said, that following the approval of this budget, that the board will be provided with the salary study and compare the supervisors to custodians and make a determination as to whether the additional $250,032 in funds could be used to support the supervisors or any other purposes that the district deems necessary.
Second.
I'll have to trim that down. So your amendment is that the $250,000 available,
That we examine how we can use that, but including but not limited to, for bus supervisors.
examine the $250,000. So we're approving the amendment, which will be a string attached to the budget, to examine the $250,000 for salary study adjustments. With a focus on bus supervisors. All right.
So I got to get a second though. Oh, you are. yeah, okay.
Reverend
Span
Span seconded you. So, this is an amendment to the motion to approve the second reading. The amendment is to examine the $250,000 for salary study adjustments to focus on bus supervisors. The motion was by McQuillan, the second was by Reverend Span. Is there any discussion on this amendment?
I have a question, Superintendent Jackson. Do you have an idea of the date for the completion of the salary schedule study?
As I understand it, the study itself has been completed. We're now waiting on the final product from the consultants that we've hired.
I have another question. I understand it says available for other needs of the district. Has the administration or principals submitted a proposal after this budget maybe to utilize these funds?
At this point in time, no, sir, we have not submitted a proposal to expend the $250,000.
So they're available for whatever needs the district has?
That is correct.
Okay.
And just so I'm clear on my motion, I'm not saying that we have to use the funds. It depends on what the salary study shows, but that we'll at least examine it. And if the district comes forward with some other recommendation for which to use the funds, then that's fine. So it's not.
It's not you don't want to allocate, you're not trying to allocate the money now.
Correct. I'm just saying that we need to examine it, and we can make a determination at that point in time, but it could be that the principals come up with something else and this board decides we're going to use it for that as opposed to supervisors.
So,
That was my language I think I used was including but not limited to.
including but not limited
So
to.
essentially, I'm hoping that the district office will examine possible uses for those funds, and then the board can approve or direct them how we see fit.
Okay. So the amendment is examine the $250,000 for study salary adjustments, including but not limited to bus supervisors. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
About purchased services. Does that include lawn care, maintenance, that sort of thing?
Travel, Kelly Services, yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not sure quite how to put this, but I'd like to maybe,
So we have to call the first amendment first.
oh, okay.
If you'd like an additional amendment, we can make
I
a
would.
following motion. So we need to call if there's no discussion on the amendment, we need to call the question on the amendment, and then we can entertain another amendment to an additional line item.
Okay.
All right, so we are calling the question on the amendment to examine the $250,000 for salary study adjustments, including but not limited to bus supervisors. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Trying to keep up so hard, I'm not sure I voted. I was an aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. All right. Ms. Conder.
Yeah, I'd like to also ask that I'm not sure how to word this, examine the cost between contracting someone to do the outside work for our lawn care and maintenance versus doing it in-house before we make any decisions about how we're going to fund that expenditure.
So we are in process of evaluating that currently and expect in the next 30 days we'll move forward with that process.
I have a better timeline
Okay.
by Thursday.
By Thursday.
But we're hoping for 30 days. It could take up to 60 days just because of some contractual obligations.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, or you think you need another motion?
Doesn't need to be a motion now
Yeah,
because they're currently.
it's
Yeah, if they're
done.
currently working on it, I'm fine with that.
It's reflected in the current plans. So
Okay.
it's in the proposed budget.
Okay.
Oh, it is already.
Y'all keeping me on my Robert's Rules toes tonight. Does anyone
What's in the
else?
proposed budget? The contracted services?
Versus in-house services.
When does that contract expire?
You mentioned that during the public hearing, didn't you talk briefly about?
I don't recall that.
I think December?
Yes, November, December.
Yeah, thank you.
It's February of 2018, the expiration.
Is there a clause in that contract for us to terminate that?
Yes, sir, there is, with notice.
30-day notice?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of the motion to approve the second reading of the 2017-2018 general fund budget, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I love to bang the gavel on that one. There is a unanimous budget approved.
Thank you.
I don't think that's happened in a long time. Thank you. I know it was tremendous work. Very, very thankful for all the work and thought that has been put into this budget. We'll move on now to Human Resources, the first reading of policies and rules for revision. Dr. Levine.
Good evening, Board Chair Wofford, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Jackson. The policies and rules listed under Agenda Item 6A are being brought to you for revision through the Instruction and Accountability Department as a result of changes to the South Carolina Uniform Grading Policy provided by the South Carolina Department of Education. At this time, it is the recommendation of the administration that you approve the first reading of policies and rules as listed under Board Agenda Item 6A.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chairwoman, I'd like to make the motion to approve first reading of policies and rules for revision.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Mr. McQuillan. Are there any questions or discussion for Dr. Levine? Felt it was very straightforward. The policies have to be changed because the state made changes. So it didn't seem like very much to be for debate. All right, hearing no questions or comments, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you very much. We'll move on now to the superintendent's report. Mr. Jackson.
All right. Good evening, everyone, Madam Chair, board members. Hope everyone has been enjoying their summer, trying to stay dry and cool. And our staff at the district level and also the school level has been steadily preparing for the 2017-18 school year. I actually had an opportunity to have lunch with representatives from Teacher Forum today at their Teacher Forum retreat. So that was a great opportunity as they prepared for the upcoming school year. Happy to announce the One Berkeley Golf Tournament was held on Friday, June 16th at the Crowfield Golf Club. I'm happy to report that the tournament was a huge success. We had 30 teams, I believe. We're only supposed to field 28, but we had 30 teams, 120 golfers from the Midlands all the way to the Low Country. Assisted us in raising more than $10,000 for our Berkeley County School District students. As said before, this funding will go towards our One Berkeley Goes Back to School Festival, where we provide school supplies and backpacks for our Berkeley County School District students. This year, that festival will be held on Saturday, August 12th, right up the road here at the Moncks Corner Regional Recreation Complex. If you'd like more information regarding sponsorship, volunteer opportunities, please contact our Office of Communications, Katie Richardson. CTE Lifestyle Summer Camp, almost 100 students from across the district and had the opportunity to get their hands dirty during the Low Country Lifestyle Summer Camp hosted by Cane Bay Middle School and sponsored by our CTE department. The students spent their days learning about healthy eating and living habits, transplanted tomato and cucumber plants into planters, and they took home to their families. They built robots and learned how to clean water and about filtration. Students also had the opportunity to participate in a field study at the U.S. Water Recovery Plant located in Goose Creek. This plant specializes in wastewater treatment and oil recycling. students and staff had a great week experiencing this together. And then they had another camp, a Code Nation camp. Almost 40 students from across the district attended the Code Nation Computer Science Camp hosted by St. Stephen Middle School. Participating middle school students from St. Stephen Middle, Macedonia, Cross, Berkeley, Westview, and Hanahan learned to code with block and text language. They used an interactive gaming program. They programmed a robot and also interacted with industry professionals. There were over 65 applications submitted by students across the district, but because of space, unfortunately, they were limited this year. So the CTE department is hoping that they can increase their enrollment capacity next year and hopefully possibly offer the camp in more than one location and providing more summer opportunities for our students, or enrichment opportunities for our students. I want to take this time to thank the CTE district team, the school instructors for planning these events for our students and having these wonderful opportunities and summer enrichment opportunities. And last but certainly not least, I'm not sure if many of our folks are aware that, almost 60% of our families, students and families in the district live in poverty. And there are more than 136 living in foster care and more than 345 students and families identified as homeless in Berkeley County. So we care deeply for our students, and part of that, we want to make sure that they have at least one healthy, nutritious meal per day during the summertime. So our child nutrition department is offering the summer feeding program, Berkeley County Summer Feeding Program, offered in 7 locations throughout the district. The program began on June 5th and will run through August 4th, offering free meals for students under the age of 18. The feeding program is available at St. Stephen Elementary, Berkeley Middle School, Goose Creek Primary, Westview Primary, Westview Elementary, Devon Forest Elementary, and Cane Bay Middle School. That concludes my report for this evening.
For the board chair report, I don't normally announce events or talk about events, but we had a pretty fantastic event at Berkeley High School on Friday. 2 former Berkeley High School graduates who are current NFL players and the NFL Players Association provided a free camp for over 800 children where they did lots of different things football related, but they also did blood pressure, diabetes, concussion awareness, and really spent time on nutrition as well. So it was very exciting, tons of kids out there, and very exciting to have the NFL Players Association here in Berkeley County providing services to our kids. So it was a big deal at Berkeley High School. Wow. I'll say take that. We love to get good news. Sometimes we're just sitting up here and people send good news to us. So Mr. Jackson just got some great news.
Just received a text message that our very own Tana Lee, who was mentioned earlier during the citizens' comments, was actually the SCATE teacher, administrator of the year. That's a Career and Technical Education Administrator of the Year.
We'll have a special recognition in the future. That is great
Absolutely.
news. Lots of great things going on in Berkeley County, touching lots of kids in lots of different places. So we'll move on now to the executive session. Is there a motion?
I make the motion.
Madam Chair Lady, I would like to make a comment about the budget, if you don't mind, before we go into executive session.
Yes, sir. So we'll go back to the board chair report. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say that Ms. Carlin has done an exemplary job as interim chief financial officer. We'd like to thank you for your hard work and an excellent presentation on the budget. Also, Mr. Jackson, his cabinet, the principals, all of the individuals that contributed to the internal mechanism of making this happen, and to all the board members to make sure that we're on the same page. We do the same things for children and for our employees, and that's what we're here for. Capsulizing, there's no tax increase. There's a step increase for anybody that's under 28 years experience of a 1.5 point increase, and additionally a 1% increase that the board has seen fit at the expense of $1.9 million. So we want to applaud the board for that. We want to let our employees know that we trust them for educating our children. We believe that they're doing an excellent job, and we want to do everything we can to retain their services. This is a step in the right direction. It's not an end all. We're going to continue to do that and keep our employees paramount along with our students. We added 19 regular FTE teachers to make sure that we are still, Dr. Levine, congratulations, making sure that we have an adequate pupil-teacher ratio of about 25-1 in all of our buildings. So congratulations to you for doing that. 19 additional special ed teachers. Dr. Wolf, congratulations on that. Thank you for your service. Increased technology individuals, increased maintenance positions, 8 additional maintenance positions, which is extraordinary. We have needed these additional positions for years. With the additional numbers of schools and additional schools coming on, we need these folks. And near and dear to my heart and to every principal's heart, thank you to Mr. Jackson for an additional more than $700,000 in teacher supplies in the individual schools in our county. Over $700,000 added to teacher supplies for our principals to delegate to those department chairs and to those individuals for the supplies that our children need. So once again, thank you to Ms. Carlin, to Superintendent Jackson, to staff, and to the board members for working collectively together for our children. Thank you.
So we'll move to executive session. Is there a motion?
I make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Reverend Spann, to enter into executive session for the purposes stated, a discussion of a pending employment matter, 1 student course exemption request, and 13 student attendance appeals. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are in executive session. Is there a motion to return from executive session?
I make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Reverend Spann, to enter into regular session. I'd like to state for the record, no action was taken in executive session. All in favor of returning to regular session, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are now back in regular session.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the student course exemption request and allow completion of an alternate course as a substitute.
Second. There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Wofford, to approve the student course exemption request and allow completion of an alternate course as a substitute as discussed in executive session. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion passes. We'll now move on to student attendance appeals. We'll now hear a motion for student number 1.
Madam Chair, Lady, I move that we do not allow the student appeal, attendance appeal.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Barrow, a second by Reverend Spann to deny the attendance appeal of student number 1. I don't know what I said. Mr. Barrow and Reverend Spann. Motion by Barrow, second by Spann, to deny the attendance appeal of student number 1. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Please raise your hand for aye. Nay. The motion fails. Is there another motion? The motion fails 2-7. Is there another motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the request for student number 1.
There's a motion to approve the request for student number 1 by Ms. Conder, a second by Mr. McQuillan. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
7-2, the motion passes. We'll now move on to student number 2. Is there a motion for student number 2?
Is it 6-2?
It's
Yes, 8.
only 8 of us.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 6-2.
I keep saying 7.
Madam Chair, I move to deny student appeal for student number 2.
Second.
There's a motion by Reverend Spann, a second by Mr. Barrow to deny the appeal of student number 2. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Raise your hand for the ayes. Nay. Motion fails. Is there another motion for student number 2?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the attendance appeal for student number 2.
Second. There's a motion by McQuillan, second by Wofford. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
5-3, the motion carries. We're on to student number 3.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 3, I move that we grant the attendance appeal.
Second, there's a motion by McQuillan, second by Wofford, to approve the attendance appeal of student number 3. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
6-2, the motion passes. Students number 4 and 5 will be heard together. Is there a motion for students 4 and 5?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead. Madam Chairman, I move that we grant the appeal.
second.
There's a motion by Ms. Conder, a second by Mr. McQuillan, to approve the attendance appeal of students 4 and 5. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Nay.
Nay.
6-2, the motion passes. We're on to student number 6.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 6, I move that we grant the attendance appeal.
Second.
There's a motion by McQuillan, a second by Conder. Student number 6, a motion to approve the appeal of student number 6. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
6-2, the motion carries. On to student number 7.
Madam Chair, I move that we deny the student appeal for student number 7.
Second.
There's a motion by Reverend Spann, second by Mr. Barrow, to deny the appeal of student number 7. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
The motion is defeated 2-6. Is
Madam
there
Chair,
another
in the matter
motion?
of student number 7, I move that we grant the attendance appeal.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Ms. Conder, to approve the appeal of student number 7. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
The motion passes 6-2. We're on to student number 8.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 8, I move that we grant the attendance appeal.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Ms. Conder, to approve the attendance appeal of student number 8. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
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 5-3. The motion passes. Students 9 and 10 will be heard together. Is there a motion for students 9 and 10?
Madam Chair, in the matter of students 9 and 10, I move that we grant the attendance appeal.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan. I'll second by Wofford, to approve the attendance appeal of students 9 and 10. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
6-2, the motion passes. On to student number 11. I make a motion to approve the attendance appeal of student number 11.
Second.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the appeal of student number 11.
Okay. I've got a motion by Wofford and a second by McQuillan.
I'll yield to her. She can have it.
You'll yield to Conder. So a motion by Wofford, a second by Conder to approve the attendance appeal of student number 7. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
What student was that?
11.
Okay. Thought you said 7.
I may have lost my mind.
No, you haven't.
It's student 11. So we are on a motion to approve the attendance appeal for student number 11. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
6-2, the motion passes. Student number 12.
Madam Chair, student number 12, I move that we deny the appeal.
There's a motion by Reverend Spann, a second by Mr. Barrow, to deny the appeal of student number 12. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
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 The motion is defeated 2-6. Is there another motion for student number 12?
I make the motion that we approve student number 12.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Mr. McQuillan, to approve the student attendance appeal of student number 12. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
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 6-2, the motion passes. Student 13. Is there a motion for student 13?
Madam Chairman, I move that we grant the appeal for student number 13.
Second. There's a motion by Ms. Conder, a second by Wofford, to approve the attendance appeal of student number 13. All in favor, please.
Like some discussion, please. Is that in order?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
As long as it doesn't identify the student
No,
or the
I'm
school.
aware of that. Thank you. Our current board policy is pretty clear. Students attend or are required to attend under policy school in the attendance zone in which they live, with notable exceptions, such as academic exceptions, as well as employee exemptions, and for hardship. In each case that comes before this board, the school administration reviews the appeal, and each principal is cognizant and fully aware of the board policy. Then it goes to a cabinet level position of a supervisor. That supervisor reviews with the principal and the parent the same appeal and applies the same criteria of the policy. If the supervisor does not overturn the principal's decision, then it goes to the superintendent if it's continued to be appealed by the parent. Superintendent likewise reviews it with the administrative supervisor, and in cases with the parent and with the school principal. And it only gets to the board after the superintendent also rejects the appeal. So there have been 3 appeals prior to hearing it with the board. And all of these people are highly educated. They know the policy. They know the exceptions, and they know that there requires normally under this policy a hardship. The board is not applying hardships to these applications. We are in a policy of school choice, it seems. That is not board policy. That is the policy of some individuals on the board, obviously, because of the votes that we're having. So I realize that I'm in a minority situation here, but it's not because I'm objecting to these attendance appeals. It's because I am a proponent and an advocate of policy. If the policy needs to be revised or rethought or completely done away with, then that's an option. But for us to sit up here and exercise and to deny the school principal, the administrative supervisor, and the superintendent to simply reverse on our decision based upon what we consider school choice and parents having the right to choose schools for their children, then we need to revise the policy. Thank you.
We fundamentally disagree on what the policy calls for.
The policy calls for the folks at the district to apply hardship, but it says for the board to act in the best interest of the child. And just because what you think that the school administrator says is in the best interest of the child, and I think what the parent says is in the best interest of the child, we disagree. But no one here is going against policy. The policy gives this board the right to assign where children attend school based on the best interest of the child and attendance at that school. So we don't agree on what our job is. My job is to look out for the best interest of children. No one is insulting the administration here. No one is insulting the superintendent here. And I'm quite offended that you imply that we are. We work with these people every single day, and we work with them. No one is insulting the administration of schools, as you're implying. We are trying to work for what's best, for what parents say is best for their children. We go out and beg for parents to participate. Then they come to this board and ask for help, and we think we're smarter than them. We should be working with parents. That's our job.
I'll say this too. I don't think, Sally's right. What is the best interest of a child, or what is a hardship? The policy doesn't have a definition. So for Mr. Barrow, for you to come up here and say, I'm right and you're wrong, you're wrong. It's an opinion, and people are voting their opinion and their thoughts on this respectfully. And I understand this is a passionate...
I did not say that you were wrong.
You implied that.
I did not say that. You can infer what you choose. And your tone, particularly the board chair's tone, to me is insulting. I have not used any derogatory terms.
Sir, I feel like we've had a lecture all night long, and I'm quite tired of it, truthfully.
I have not raised my voice to you.
I'm quite tired of the lecture, sir. I'm quite tired of the lecture.
We will let the public make its own decision as to who's correct.
I'm offended, sir. I'm offended, okay? And you offended me earlier this evening, and I'm offended at your commentary. And I think maybe you need to pay attention to the chairperson who is in charge and fall back into order.
Have I been out of order? I don't think so.
You have insulted this board, sir.
That's not true.
You have insulted us as individuals.
I have stated my opinion on policy.
I personally do not appreciate you implying that we are wrong in making our decisions and that we are going against policy. There is nothing in the policy that says that we have to make decisions the way that you think we need to make them. We, as a majority of this board, have voted on the attendance policies, and they stand, sir.
Why are you raising your voice?
Excuse me.
Why are you raising your voice?
Excuse me, because
you seem to be out of order, ma'am.
No, she has the floor. Ms. Condor has the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Is there any other discussion about the attendance appeal? Mr. Wright.
I'm not offended by any of what's been said, but I can say this much. And the reason why I voted the way I did is because if we're not going to take it, we're going to vote in that direction, let's just make this motion. I'll put a motion to the floor to allow these students to go wherever they want, wherever they live, as long as the parents could provide them with transportation. Because I think it's to a disadvantage for me to sit back there and look at 13, 14 of these appeals, and most time, and that's why I voted in that direction. Just let them go where they want to go at, if this is how the way we feel. And it would help me with an additional hour sometime that I'm spending here if we're not going to take it in that direction. So I'm not offended by what you said, Mr. Barrows, neither you or anybody else. But I'll put a motion to the floor, and let's live up to what we believe in. If you believe it, let's vote on it. The board has the power.
I agree. I think we need to consider a policy edit.
If this is what you're in favor of, and I don't have to listen to any of those appeals, because now the administration can do whatever we want them to do, and I can go home an hour earlier.
Madam Chair, I'm not offended by any remarks or whatsoever. My concern is the zoning area that we have already, and whether or not that students that resides in those zones supposed to go to the schools in those zones. I understand that when you mention hardship, I believe it's our opinion to decide whether or not it's a hardship or not. And once we have voted, I'm satisfied with that.
Madam Chairwoman. Just
Mr.
something real
Ramsey.
quick. Just to clarify how I'm making my decisions, and I've not been offended by either side. It's good to put out there what folks believe and what they're about. But with me is I pretty much, first I utilize my life experiences, and then secondly, I do a good bit of research with these before I come to the board meeting. And my definition of hardship is probably different than everyone on this board, because hardship, and also, but I do feel we all have the heart of the students. Everyone on this board has the heart of the students, but number one with me is someone who's had a lot of very experiences with a lot of different schools in my life, is if someone's doing well, or if the parents are saying something, or I do my investigation trying to learn everything on my own time to figure out what makes sense out of the information provided. So I'm really, I am voting based on hardship, but I am also taking into account trying to discern what is best for the child as far as which school to go to. So it's not, with me, it's just not a carte blanche school choice, let them go wherever they want to go. With me, whenever I can err on the side of trying to help the children, I'm going to try to help them. So I just wanted to clarify as far as why I'm voting the way I'm voting. And so sometimes with me, it will be a yay or it will be a nay, but it's always going to be where I'm really just trying to do what's best for the children of the district. Thank you.
Any other discussion before we call the question for student number 13?
Just David or Mr. Barrow, I wasn't coming at you. I'm respectfully just disagreeing with what you said, and I respect your opinion. I truly do. And we may disagree, and the fellow that used to sit next to me, Dr. Murray, we disagreed all the time, but we respectfully disagreed.
Thank you very
I
much.
think as a board, we need to remember who we are as leaders for our children and try to keep it as civil and professional as we can.
I
I
agree
apologize if I
100%.
took us down a path that led to something else.
I agree with that.
I feel like there's a lot of passion on this board. We have a lot of heart.
There is, and a lot of it comes from very serious personal experience, sleeping on the floor at my grandma's house. So it is very, very passionate. Student number 13, any other discussion? We'll call the question to approve the attendance appeal of student number 13. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
6-2. Motion carries. I would love to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I made the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Mr. McQuillan to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.